So here's the thing. Right now, tonight, when you close your eyes and drift off, you're going to think you're resting. And that's exactly what most people think. But the truth is, the moment you fall asleep, your body kicks into a mode that is so intense, so complex, that scientists are still unpacking it. We're talking about your brain literally washing itself clean, your cells rebuilding, your heart changing rhythm, your hormones completely reshuffling. And if you skip out on this, the consequences are scary. So let's get into it. What actually happens to your body when you fall asleep, and why it matters more than you think. Before the 1950s, scientists actually believed sleep was just downtime, like your body was powering off. Johns Hopkins medicine helped flip that completely. Their research showed that sleep is one of the most active periods in your entire day. Your brain isn't shutting down. It's doing its most critical work while you're completely unaware. So let's walk through this stage by stage, because what happens between closing your eyes and waking up tomorrow is genuinely wild. The moment you start falling asleep, the very first minutes, your body temperature begins to drop. According to research from the National Institutes of Health, your core temperature needs to fall by about 1 to 2 degrees Fahrenheit for you to actually transition into sleep. It's one of the body's primary signals that it's time to shut the outside world out. Your heart rate slows, blood pressure drops. The National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute confirmed that during this early stage of non-REM sleep, your cardiovascular system is actively depressurizing. Your breathing slows, your muscles release tension one by one. You're not just relaxing. Your nervous system is actively choosing to lower its response to the world. It's a controlled shutdown, not a passive one. Now this is where it gets really interesting. Once you hit deep sleep, what scientists call slow-wave sleep, your body enters a repair mode. And this isn't a metaphor. This is literal cellular reconstruction. Growth hormone, the hormone responsible for tissue repair, muscle growth, and maintaining your body's structure, is released almost exclusively during this stage. Harvard Medical School's sleep and health education program confirmed that major restorative functions like tissue repair and protein synthesis occur almost exclusively while you're asleep. During the day, your body takes damage from everything: exercise, stress, environmental exposure. Deep sleep is when it fixes it. Your immune system gets a major boost here too. Research from the University of Arizona's Sleep and Health Research Program found that people who consistently get less sleep have a weaker immune response. They get sick more often, and even vaccines can be less effective if you're sleep deprived. A study published in the Annals of Internal Medicine found that people who slept fewer than 6 hours a night were significantly more likely to catch a cold virus compared to those who slept 7 or more. Your immune system isn't resting during sleep. It's arming itself. And there's something happening to your brain during this stage as well. The University of Chicago's research showed that slow-wave sleep is critical for your hippocampus, the part of your brain that processes short-term memory, to transfer information into long-term storage. Everything you learned today, it gets locked in while you're asleep. Okay, so here's where things get genuinely wild. Once you cycle into REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, your brain essentially wakes back up. But your body, it stays almost completely paralyzed. That's not a glitch. That's by design. The American Heart Association explained that during REM, your brain is fully active, but your motor muscles are essentially switched off, so you don't physically act out your dreams. Your eyes dart around behind your closed lids. That's where the name comes from. And your heart rate, blood pressure, and breathing all spike back up to levels close to when you're awake. This stage is critical for emotional processing and learning. Research from UC Berkeley's Sleep and Neuroimaging Lab showed that without REM sleep, the brain reverts to more primitive emotional patterns. It struggles to regulate mood, to put stress into context, and to respond appropriately to challenges. That's why when you skip a night of sleep, you don't just feel tired, you feel genuinely on edge. And here's the timing thing people don't understand. You cycle through deep sleep and REM sleep multiple times throughout the night, usually 4 or 5 cycles. But here's the catch. The REM periods get longer as the night goes on. So if you're cutting your sleep short, setting that alarm an hour or 2 early, you're disproportionately cutting off REM sleep. That's the stage you need most for your brain's emotional and cognitive recovery. Now, I want to talk about something discovered in 2012 that is still blowing scientists' minds. It's called the glymphatic system. During deep sleep, your brain literally rinses itself. a network of channels opens up, and cerebrospinal fluid flows through your brain tissue, flushing out toxic waste products that built up during the day. One of those waste products is called amyloid beta, and that's one of the proteins most heavily linked to Alzheimer's disease. Research published in Science by a team at the University of Rochester found that the space between brain cells expands by about 60% during sleep, which dramatically increases the rate at which this waste gets cleared. An NIH study using brain imaging found that after just one night of sleep deprivation, participants had about 5% more amyloid beta in their brains than those who slept fully. One single night without proper sleep. And toxic waste is already accumulating. The research is still evolving. There's active scientific debate about the exact mechanisms, but the core finding is solid. Sleep is when your brain does its most important cleanup, and skipping it has real long-term consequences. Real quick, if this is blowing your mind even a little bit, hit that like button. Seriously! It takes half a second, and it helps this kind of content reach more people. I promise the next part is worth sticking around for. While all this rebuilding and brain cleaning is happening, your hormones are completely reshuffling. Cortisol, your stress hormone, drops, growth hormone surges, and the hormones that control hunger, leptin and ghrelin, get recalibrated. This is where the connection to weight gain comes in. Research from the University of Chicago found that without enough sleep, your body produces more ghrelin, the hormone that makes you feel hungry, and less leptin, the one that tells you you're full. Sleep-deprived participants in their study also had elevated levels of chemicals that made high-fat, high-calorie foods feel more rewarding. So it's not just that you're tired and eating more. Your brain is literally making junk food more appealing. And the metabolic hit is real. Johns Hopkins medicine noted that even a single night of missed sleep can push an otherwise healthy person into a pre-diabetic state. One night. So let's talk about what happens when this whole system breaks down over time. Because most people aren't losing one night of sleep. They're consistently shortchanging themselves by 2 or 3 hours every single night. The American Heart Association added sleep duration to its list of critical components for heart and brain health because the evidence is overwhelming. Harvard's Sleep Medicine Division found that chronic sleep deprivation is linked to increased risk of obesity, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, depression, and Alzheimer's disease. One large-scale study found that people who consistently slept fewer than 5 hours a night had a dramatically increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Another found that cutting sleep by just 2 to 3 hours a night is associated with a meaningfully shortened lifespan. The cognitive decline piece is particularly sobering. The Framingham Heart Study, which has followed participants for decades, found that sleep disruption in midlife actually predicts cognitive decline and dementia later in life. We're not talking about feeling groggy. We're talking about the long-term structure of your brain being shaped by how you sleep. Right now, in your 20s and 30s, about 1 in 3 adults globally don't get enough sleep. 1 in 3. That's not a small issue. That's a widespread problem with real consequences that most people are completely underestimating. So here's the bottom line. Sleep is not downtime. It's not something you can afford to skip, optimize away, or push to the weekend. Every night, your body is rebuilding tissue. Your immune system is fortifying. Your brain is consolidating memories, processing emotions, and washing out toxic waste that could contribute to Alzheimer's down the road. Your hormones are recalibrating everything from your metabolism to your mood. The science is clear. Sleep is one of the most powerful things your body does, and it only works when you actually let it happen. If this changed how you think about going to bed tonight, even a little, subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell. There's a lot more coming, and trust me, the stuff we haven't covered yet is just as surprising. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.